Hey everybody, welcome to my vlog. I don't know what number vlog this is. It's definitely less than 10. I haven't been vlogging as often as I want to. So, as you probably know, in the last video, I've been working on new songs. I've been trying to see where I can take my music. And one of the things I decided to do was I listen to a lot of music, but also to look back at what I've done. And one of the things to do is listen to my old records, and I pulled out um, my first record to listen to simply because I think the best way to move forward is to reflect on what you've done before. So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about this record right here. This is my first acoustic record. This was recorded in 2010. It released in 2011. Now, I spent a whole lot of time in 2010 recording this album. But to talk about this album, let's talk about it from the beginning. I had been doing acoustic music for a very, very long time before this record came out, and I realized that I had to repeat the song that I was writing or singing over and over again the same way because I was worried I was forgetting how the song would sound. So if you had come to the shows much earlier, the songs may sound different, the way I strum it and stuff like that. And I realized that in order for me to move on and write new songs, I needed to archive the songs that I wrote during this time. So what I did was I decided, okay, it's time to go into the studio to record it. So I looked around for a studio, and it was not easy. It was not easy to do that. Look around for a studio, because at the end of the day, I was out of the scene for quite a while. I was concentrating on doing my shop because I was really not in the mood to do any sort of music. So to come back and just put the songs to rest, right? I mean, put them onto record was just that's what the plan was. That was the initial plan, and I've been talking about it for years. So I said, well, why not just do it? So uh, so yeah. So what I did was about a week before recording, I had got this guitar from Mahogany. Oh no, from Bentley. It's a mahogany, and 1 week before recording, I got the guitar, and I wanted to go record an acoustic album, which now looking at it is kind of crazy. But having said that, this was 14 years ago, and I suppose the need to lay down tracks was very, very important at the time. I thought I'd go in and I would record an acoustic album and come out, within a month, because when I was recording Spunky, the recording process was actually quite quick, relatively quick. But what I failed to remember was the fact that we were already gigging a lot leading up to the recording. So when we went to recording, it was easy. It was very, very quick. But in my case, when I was doing the acoustic record, firstly, I didn't practice. Before going to the studios. That's a dead ringer for a bad idea walking into the studio. Also, I didn't have an acoustic guitar before this. So when I bought this acoustic guitar, it was my first acoustic guitar. 1 week before recording, somewhere in the I want to say it's the early 2010s. So the early first few sessions were terrible. Were really, really bad. I remember I was struggling with it, and I realized, oh my god, maybe this won't happen, because what I would do is I would go make a little bit of money, and I'll go to the studio and record. Now let's talk about the studio very, very quick. I recorded this record in Platinum Studios. It was called Platinum Studios, then it was called Odyssey Studios, and now he's working with somebody else in another studio. But Platinum Studios is where they used to put Playtime Studios was there, and Playtime was part of Positive Tone, and they did a lot of work there. So the studio was very familiar to me. Now, when I was choosing for a video, choosing a studio to go to, the most important thing was to find a studio that I was comfortable with. And looking around, when I found out that you know, Choi or Illegal, was doing the studio, still had a studio, I thought I was like, okay, this is the place for me to go and do it. Now, Illegal did a lot of work with a lot of the R&B roster on Positive Tone. This includes Innuendo, and I think Poetic Ammo. So he felt like capable hands. With him, he had this guy called Sanjeevi, who most of the time was handling the recording process. And I told him that I wanted somebody who's recording me to be someone I know, and someone who's going to be honest. I also contacted another friend of mine, Kevin Gunn. Now, when Kevin listens to this record, he tells me that the vibe he gets from this is a lonely guy in a studio, in a room, a very cold room. Which I think he nailed it. I think when it comes to the vibe that he got. But Kevin, I've known Kevin since the early days of Spunky, and I needed somebody to walk into the studio with. You want somebody, in the studio with you, to somebody that, a friend, I guess. You wanted a friend in the studio. That's the best way to put it. I gave Kevin, I think producer on this record, simply because yeah, I think he helped produce it. Sure, I'll give him the credit. Why not? Um, so it took about a year to record this record, and every time we'd record, I'd get a CD back. I'd go home and listen to it, and telling that I've got a whole stack of really bad takes of some of the songs. And it was a struggle because I realized, that you know how far behind I was. So, having said that, after about a year of finding money and recording, finding my recording, you got pretty alright, playing the guitar, especially the acoustic guitar, or knowing what we can do with the acoustic guitar. So after that was done, I needed to print it, and I decided, okay, I'm gonna make some CDs. Again, I was out of touch with the music scene for about 10 years at that point. 7 years, 10 years, 7 years. Yeah, about 7 years at that point. And I was like, I'm just gonna print CDs. I thought that was the way to go, way forward. And I printed what I thought was a small amount of CDs. So I did that. I went out, worked 3 or 4 jobs, got money. So I allocated myself money for the shop that was already I had at the time, and some money I put aside for this recording. And when the CDs finally arrived, I realized I had a whole lot of stock and had nobody to sell it to. Nobody knew who I was. Nobody knew what I was. In fact, the band, Spunky Funky, was, nobody knew who they were either, which was yeah, I guess a slight problem when you have like CDs to sell, I suppose. So what I did was I decided to reach out to the local punk underground scene for some help. In fact, Pudin helped introduce me to some of the new kids that were now, the movers and shakers in the scene. And I think the response I got was pretty cold. You can't blame them, man. Here's a guy, out of nowhere, who seems to have some some history with the local underground scene, putting out a record and asking them for help, and they know where you're coming from, where you're going. And you've got the situation where it's already acoustic, and at the time it was not the toast of the day, I guess. I guess you had to be a certain, a certain, I don't know, your acoustic has to be a certain way, I guess. I'm not so sure, but I wasn't well received, I guess, and I get no support there, which is why I decided to go out and, like, go and do shows on my own, and reach out on my own, find my own crowd, find my own scene, sell my own CDs, because I realized that nobody's gonna help you, man, when you release your own record, especially if you've left the scene for quite a bit. So you can't really blame these folks, for doing what they did. Anyways, that's a story for another day that I don't really want. We can talk about that if you want to hear about that. Just just send me leave something in the comments and I'll talk about that. But let's talk about this CD though. So yeah, the CD was released in 2011. Now what I want to say about this though is so this CD was supposed to come out in February, but but I think my father passed away in February that year, and so I couldn't release. Hopefully, whenever in February. Now my dad never got to see this side of my music. My dad's pretty old school. He knew what I was doing. Respected what I was doing, but he hoped that I would get a decent job. Get married, 2.5 kids, blah blah blah. But he did say, no, bang, your music is quite good, and I thought it was joking until one day me and my brother we borrowed his car, I think, to run an errand or something like that. We were supposed to go pick up somebody somewhere, and it was a 45-minute drive, or an hour drive. We got in the car, and we were looking for music in his car. What CDs has he got, and the shocker was there was all this Tamil music CDs, right? And then I think we clicked, and I think the opening chords to I think the plays came on, and I was stunned. I was stunned because my dad's car had one of those 8 CD changer things happening, and my band CD was actually part of the. I was shocked, man. Even my brother was shocked. I mean, we were thrilled. Why? Because we didn't think there was going to be anything else in the CD changer. So, I think it's kind of great because if it's on a CD changer, means he was listening to it quite regularly, and that's really really good, man. That's yeah, that was a good memory. Putting it on, and what is that? Was that my band in my dad's car? Right? That's killer, man. That's the ultimate compliment. So yeah, so he died in February. This album came out in April, 2 months later. Actually, the actual date is you can actually check some YouTube videos I have on this channel or somewhere online. You'd see me playing a small show with almost nobody attending, to launch the CD. Yeah, but it's quite unfortunate because my dad never got to see this side. I'm not so sure whether he would have liked it or not, but yeah, he likes Spunky. I'm sure he would have. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm glad. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So this album was released in April, or May, I think, 2011. Now let's talk about the making of the CD. Of course, recording was done at it was called Platinum Studios at the time, and on the decks, manning the table was Sanjeevi and Choi. Actually, it was a good vibe, man. I would turn up in the evenings. He'll come, I'll talk to him, and he'll be smoking a cigarette, talk to me a little bit, and then I'll go and record and ask me what song I'm recording. I mean, he treated the whole process with a lot of respect, which I thought was kind of neat. So I'll give him that. So the recording process was done at Platinum Studios, and the mixing was also done by Choi himself, which I'm quite grateful for. Yeah. So what I decided to do was I wanted something that came, as a piece of art as well, or something I can keep. I love albums that actually have nice things to look at when you're listening to the music. So I asked help from a few friends. One of the friends I asked help from was Kelvin Un. Kelvin would later is actually famous as as one of the 4 guys in Twilight Action Girl, but he also is a avid photographer. So I said, Kevin, I need some vanity shots, and I was difficult because we never actually. I don't know if Spunky ever had any vanity shots. Oh no, one for the album. We actually had one session for the album, but I realized that I needed some pictures of myself, right? So I told Kevin. Kevin said yes, and we took a drive back to my hometown in Kappa, and I had taken the house that I was living in. Was already empty. My mom had moved out after my dad had passed away. Um, no, actually moved out. Sorry, my mom had moved out before my dad passed away. So it's a few years before that. I think a year or something before. So the house was empty. Basically, the house was empty. So I got back to the house. Took the key from one of my uncles who, his house is close by, and I went to the back room, which is where I slept for a while. Now, I was in boarding school, so I want to say that was my room, but actually it was more my brother's room, to be honest. I would come back from boarding school, and I would stay there. I think a couple of weeks a year. You know, my brother slept there most of the time, but I felt like it was my room. My room. So when we got there, I took the key, went inside. You know, Kelvin decided to like take some pictures, and the front cover is actually that. It's the picture of me standing in my bedroom in my house in Kappa. There was a very strong need to be to have that, in my first release. There were a lot of pictures that he took, man. He took a lot of pictures. I settled on this one, simply because, yeah, I look good in it. And also, I think, I don't know. I just like the picture, I guess. Just like the picture. So yeah. If I haven't said it before, Calvin, thanks, man. Thanks for doing this for me. So yeah, we took the photo shoot for that, and then I asked some help from some friends. I have some friends who are very, very good visual artists. One is Doreen. Doreen did the artwork on this one. I gave her some songs to do it. Doreen is a very good friend. In fact, both Doreen and her husband Danny, they are both really, really good friends. So when I said, hey, can you like help me? It would contribute some art. It was easy for her to just do that. She did the art for that. This is also a picture from the photograph session in my home, which I'm glad I did. I did it because now the house belongs to somebody else now. It's sold. It's sold. If you get into the CD, there's some things are right here. I do that for all the CD releases I do, simply because it's a moment in time, and you wanna put your thoughts, in that moment in time. And I decided, okay, this is what I'll do. I'll leave it. I'll write something here. And it says here 1010, I guess. I don't know whether it's a good number, or it was when it was done. I'm not so sure. But the cover design, the cover design, the nice little, textures and stuff like that, was done by Doreen as well. So Doreen, if I haven't said it, thanks so much for doing this for me. This looks great. Now here's the thing though, it's called Hopefully Whenever because I was at a show, I think in Publica, and I was playing my music, and I was already recording music, and I was saying, I think I introduced, the next song. So, oh, this next song is gonna be on my new record that's gonna be out, hopefully whenever. So and I was like, wow, that's such a great title. And I kept it. So yeah, that's why it's called Hopefully Whenever. Now, if you're, I mean, a pretty observant, you'll also notice that my name's not on the CD, man. I should have left my name on the CD, but I didn't. I totally forgot to put my name on my own CD, which I think that's kind of nuts. That's kind of nuts. Totally forgot to put my name on my own CD. That's crazy, man. Anyways, I asked around more art. As I got some more art from more friends, and this includes let me see. Come on, help me out here. The CD art. This is done by Melissa Lin. She helped, do some art for this, and I'm glad she did. So Melissa, thank you so much. The back art and the tray art came from Pudin. When I told Pudin I was releasing a CD and asked him whether he was going to contribute art, he said, yeah, I'll do it. This piece is actually a part of a bigger piece. which he put together. I don't own that piece. It's his, but it's the front part and the inside part is actually part of it. I also decided to put out a lyric sheet because I wanted, lyrics that people can sing to. Now there's a piece of art here which I really quite treasure. This is art by a friend who's passed away. His name is Avroko. Avroko, man, he's quite legendary in the local Malaysian scene. He's a really nice guy. I mean, he's legendary for being a nice guy. How cool is that? So I had asked Avroko if he was willing to do some art for my acoustic. Man, I didn't need to ask twice. He was like, yes, I'll do it. And while I was recording, I'll still go to shows and I'll bump into him and say, oh yeah, I'm almost done. Until one day he actually passed me, his art. And I put it on. So I'm glad that I put his art onto the CD because he's no longer with us, and to have his art on a piece of my art is kind of great. In fact, to have all of these people's art onto my art is actually quite cool. I think it's very, very cool. So yeah, that's the making of the CD. This video is about songwriting, so all the songs on Hopefully Whenever are based on real events. Of course, based on, so you're not real events throughout, but they're based on real events, and it's events that and it's experiences that I've accumulated over the years. Either experiences that I could not put for Spunky, or experiences that happen, after Spunky and stuff like that. But it's also emotions I was feeling throughout. The only problem about all of these songs is they have the thing of being repeated. So I'll repeat the song over and over again at every show the same way because I do not want to forget it, right? So when you repeat a song over and over again the same way, chances of you trying to find different ways of singing it was a bit harder. I didn't have the tools for it to play with the song so much. So all the songs have a very strong, solid structure to it. The verse, chorus, thing. Some have bridges. Most of the songs, if you listen to it properly, have a riff or have something in there, a guitar thing, which is a very central to the song. And the reason that was the case is because, again, some of the songs were supposed to be for Spunky, but and I'm glad it wasn't on a Spunky record because I think it's a bit different. I think it would have been a different vibe. Anyway, so let's have a look at the songs. So the first one's In My Arms. This one's it's a song about a guy. I mean, if Eddie Gomez, a friend of mine, Eddie Gomez, was with me, he'll say, don't tell people what the song's about, man. Leave it mystical, I guess you could leave it mystical, but I won't talk about it. Sure, I'll talk about it. So In My Arms is basically a story about a guy who gets a visit from his girlfriend at the time, and his girlfriend tells him that she's been sleeping with somebody, or she just slept with somebody, and she's really, really sorry. And so the guy, he's a bit conflicted because he asks who it is, and she tells him who it is, and it turns out to be somebody he looks up to, right? So he can't really blame the guy, but he's also angry at the guy for letting this happen. He's angry at the person he's in love with for letting this happen, but it's happened. So he writes a song about it. That's In My Arms, pretty much in a nutshell. Butterflies is actually based. It's actually So somebody once said that, and I'm doing some Malay here, that kita ni hati rama-rama. I was like, what does that mean? So what does that mean in English? It means we have hearts like butterflies, and what does that mean? It says, because we flutter, our hearts flutter from one flower to another flower. I thought, oh my god, that's really sweet, right? But I also found out that I also realized that it's things like that. When you you go from one flower to another flower, or or you fall in love with a lot, right? You realize that it's really beautiful, it's really nice, it's really sweet, and really in the moment. But butterflies, as you know, have a very short life, and they tend to die, which is one of the hooks in the song, because butterflies die too. Saturday Night is based on it's actually a story about a Saturday night. It's the kind of story a lot of guys get. They're hanging out in their home. Somebody calls to go out. They go out and then they meet this girl. And then she comes home. It becomes intimate, and the next day she's gone. Right. So it's a Saturday night story. I want to say it's yeah. I guess it's a one night stand story. I guess. But yeah, but it's what goes through the mind of the guy, in the one night stand, I guess. Next song is called Done. Done is pretty much I think Done is the kind of song somebody writes when they're at the edge, of their rope, or when they've realized they really have nothing to lose, and this is not in life, I mean in a relationship, right? And he's had it, he's had it with this person, and he doesn't want to be with this person anymore, and he realizes that all that they've gone through was just all the symptoms of where they are right now. So Done is basically pretty much somebody singing about being at the end of that journey. Next song is I'll Know. I'll Know is a song about when you meet your ex or significant, whoever you had something with, whether it's your ex or somebody you've known for a little while, and then you bump into that person's with somebody else, and you've had some intimate time with this person, right? You realize, oh, how that person's, you know what that person's like, so you know how that person's going to treat this new person who we do not know who is, right? Because this person's actually had intimate time with you, so what her intimate traits are, her intimate characteristics are. So when you see this person, so that's what the song is called, and I'll Know. 100 Ways, a lot of guys like 100 Ways for some strange reason. I think it's because it's quite pumping, and it's a song about being yourself, right? It's being who you are. It would have been a perfect spunky song, but it's also good because it's done acoustic, and it's one of the more upbeat tunes on the record. It's finding 100 ways to be me, 100 ways to be who you are. Silly Things is it's I think it's the one of the most reflective songs on the record. It's I think when I was writing Silly Things, I was in that moment, where you reflect on life, you reflect on where you are, you reflect on what makes you happy, you reflect on things that affect you. It's also I think I think it's a song that was written in one of those moments where I was very self-reflective. Silly Things has resonates with me slightly. I don't play this song often at all. I don't think this is kind of song that I will play often. It's kind of interesting that I don't. What I Want to Hear was actually supposed to be on a spunky record. In fact, I think we almost recorded What I Want to Hear. And it's kind of great because the riff, right, the hook is very guitar centric, but so What I Want to Hear is basically it's like it's a love song, or close to a love song that you can I know the to be honest, there's only one love song I actually wrote that's a professional that me it says professing my love, and that's the love song in Sparky Fungy's Smile for the Revolution. That's the only love song I wrote. This one is a close second, if it's close enough to a love song, it's you wanting the person you're with, to tell you things that you want to hear. So it's not really a love song. It's kind of selfish, actually, now that I think about it. But it's a nice, positive song. You want her to tell you, or want the person to tell you how they feel about you. Yeah. So what I want to hear, leaving, is okay. This song was written in one of the more lower parts of my life, I guess. And some I was with somebody, and the person was obviously, you know exiting from your life. And when they do that, they take things with them, not just material things, but they take part of you with them. And the separation, right? Whether it be the separation is what feels makes you feel empty, right? And this song was written when I was doing going through the empty feeling of losing, not just, like I said, not just the person materially, not just the things that the person had, my house or my my area, but also how I felt, out for this person, all taken away, and you're left empty. So I used to play this song a lot, man. Um and it was really funny because there was I had a somebody had loaned me an Ovation guitar, and this guitar had, I think, four strings, because the last two had broken, and I didn't have the money to buy the new strings. But playing the song on that four string Ovation sounded really great, because I didn't have the first two strings, like, buzzing. So it was very nice. Maybe I should have recorded like that. Man, no, man. So when I was writing it, the drone was lovely. I love the drone in this song, but the drone actually adds to the hopelessness of the situation. In fact, that was a guitar I wrote it on. I think as a board guitar. Finally, there's Kampung Boy. Kampung Boy. Um, every musician has their song. They tried to write their song, or will write their song. I uh, I wrote Kampung Boy. I like it. I wanted something simple. I wanted something that will, you know, identify me with where I was from. Just like, the CD, you know, my room. There was definitely a conscious theme with that. It's a simple, 1 for 5 song. It's a country song. In fact, um, I was at a show once, and somebody said, "Oh, Kampung Boy, isn't that Lard comic book?" It's like, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it is. But there are other ways to use it. What I like about Kampung Boy is a lot of folks, you know, help and sing this song when I play it live. So I usually play at the end of my set. So it's a great way to walk away from the stage, when people are singing with you. Um, uh, and I didn't expect, a 10-second song to be played so much. In fact, when I wrote Kampung Boy, it was just to say, that's where I'm from. A lot of times folks think I'm, from a middle class, background, when I'm not. I'm actually from a very small village or kampong, estate, you know, in Kapa, which is basically out in the boonies, back in the 80s or early 70s, right? So I wanted something, I wanted to write about that. So I wrote Kampung Boy, and I'm really glad that I did, because it's a song I don't mind playing until the day I die. You know, it's a good song. I like it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. There's a hidden track on this CD. It's called Dead Dead Dead. I like sing-alongs. Why do I like sing-alongs? Because I do folk, right? And one thing about folk music is you want guys to sing with you. If you write a song that's easy for people to sing along, you generally won the the folk thing, because folk is for people. It's simple songs people just immediately sing along to, right? And Dead was one of those songs. I enjoyed doing this one because there was a nice, I'd say something and the audience will sing back, and I'll say something and they'll sing back. It's really nice. I really enjoyed it during the period I was playing shows. One of the more memorable parts of my set would usually be one of these, sing along parts, because you get the audience involved. But I didn't put it on the CD, simply because when I was growing up, I always loved the fact that some CDs had like a hidden track. Um, is the added bonus for the listener. I thought, why not just put that in. What else can I say? Yeah, if you haven't heard any of the songs, you can actually listen to them on Spotify. I would love if you got a CD, though. A lot of work went into this. Um, Also, you'll have finance the next few releases, whichever ones they are. Um, if you want to support a musician, you can either tip them in the basket, go to their shows or buy their merch. And in this case, this is merch. I've got folks telling me, hey, what am I going to do with the CD? I'm like, hey, you buy a ticket at the show, and you don't mind paying 60 ringgit, and you just go out with a memory. Here I am giving you, something physical to bring home. I mean, hell, you can actually put it on your shelf and like open it up and blah blah blah. And as a, people have souvenirs from all around the world, little stuff they put on their shelf. You can put this on the shelf. Why not? Yeah. So what was I want to say? Yeah. So yeah, so that's how you support it. How do I feel about the CD now that's out? 14 years. I'm very happy. Let's say Kevin says it sounds like a man in a room all alone, and I get that. Now that I listen to it, I get that. I couldn't listen to the record for the first 1 2 years because it's so close to recording it. Right now, I listen to it. I think it's got something. It's got something. It's got that. I think that vulnerability, which I don't think I could replicate in any way. In terms of instrumentation, this was a chance for me to just release a guitar, one man, one guitar record. There's if there's anything, there's just another guitar in it. I don't think there's any other instrumentation. As far as I can remember offhand, I don't think there is. I did double up the vocals a couple of times. All the vocals you see on this record is mine, man. You know, I could not hire anybody else to do it. Oh, except did. Now, I had asked some friends to come over to sing along to that song, and they did, including, the late Avroko, who came and he brought you know, something to drink, and they were all drunk and stuff. It was a great session. That was fantastic. If you listen to it properly, you can even hear his voice. It's that voice is there. So yeah, not much of instrumentation. But looking back, I think it was very, very important for me to do this because it's 2024 now, and I would not be able to look back at what it was like in 2011 when this thing came out. Again, the timing of it coming out, it's actually quite perfect because it was a way for me to cope with, loss and gain. Loss of, family, and gain of, you know, self, right? Self. So in many ways, this is a very important record for me. I know some people really, really like this record over the others. Um, I too like this record. Occasionally, I'd go back and have a listen to this, and and I can hear, a different person, I guess, or the person who was coping whatever he was coping with at the time. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what else can I say about this record. Hopefully, whenever Nothing. It's nothing. People that like it. People that don't like it, we don't like it. It's not easy. It's not an easy record to listen to. Uh, Simply because it's stripped down, man. It's stripped down. I remember when I was very very young, and I had a Bob Dylan uh, record that my uncle had. It's not easy to listen to, and then Bob Dylan had instrumentation, right? It was not easy to listen because you're young and you wanted something rocking, right? Um, I'm not saying that this is Bob Dylan, but I understand why it's difficult to listen to. Um, but I think the album grows on you, and I'm slowly beginning to fall in love with this record again. But moving forward, I don't think I'll make another. Hopefully, whenever. I hope not. I think I have to be really broken again to write another. Hopefully, whenever. So I hope I don't have to do that. And even if I did, I hope it's different kind of broken. I mean, it's so boring to be broken twice in the same way, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I'm glad I'm doing. I'm actually quite glad I did this. I wasn't so sure if I wanted to talk about this record, but I do. I do want to talk about it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm done. I'm done. Perhaps in about 5 6 years, I'd probably do another video. Why? Because that's what albums are actually. They are a snapshot of you during that time. You know, um, and now I've got a vlog that takes a snapshot of me 14 years later. So I think there's always a door open to look at this record again, and I'll keep coming back to it. It's for me a good record. Oh, by the way, also it's mastered by Toe, so it got the full treatment. By it's mastered, makes the works. I didn't spare a dime on this. And if you're if you're a musician, um, don't spare the cost on getting your record out. There's a whole thing about just release it. Just no, don't spare a dime, because you'd probably not be in that frame of mind to record like that again. And even if you were, um, even if you were, it won't be the same. So whatever you've recorded at that point of view, give it the full treatment. Release something worth releasing. I get people who are overseas, who play this on the indie radio stations, who appreciate the fact that I mastered the record. It makes it easy for them to feature this Malaysian folk musician, right? So yeah, that's my recommendation. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully whenever 2011, to everybody who's involved on this one, uh thank you very much. And this includes the people who are the press, who actually wrote some nice things at the press for me. So yeah, I appreciate it.